Welcome back to the TWSN YouTube channel. Today we have another team-specific mock draft for you guys. This one, a little bit of an exciting one. The New York Giants. Picks 5, picks 7. A lot of possibilities. New coach, new GM, a lot of different directions. How are they going to start this era off with picks 5 and 7? What are they going to do? What are they going to add to improve this team? This team's got an okay roster, some solid players, but in general, they need a lot. They obviously are picking this high for a reason, and luckily they got an extra first-round pick from the Bears last year. If you look how the board's fallen so far, Hutchinson, Walker, Thibodeau, and Sauce Gardner, this is a very realistic first four, and that would leave the Giants with, I think they definitely are thrilled that all these tackles are still here. I think they would obviously want one of Gardner or Thibodeau to be there, but for right now, I like Evan Neal there to the Giants at 5. We'll see who falls to them again at 7 now. Everybody's still there. It's tough. I think Derek Stingley could make a lot of sense here. I do. Kyle Hamilton's a little bit interesting. Jermaine Johnson's a possibility. Even a trade down here wouldn't shock me at all whatsoever. But for right now, I think this one's tough. I'm going to go ahead and give him Derek Stingley Jr. because I think they are looking for another corner. We know James Bradbury could be dealt, traded, cut, whatever, restructured, whatever along the lines. They need some help in the secondary. There's some questions with Derek Stingley Jr. Obviously, everybody knows about it. But I think it's kind of worth the risk there, especially if you are going to be losing a pretty good corner. You take a high upside guy there with Derek Stingley. And that's kind of the luxury you have when you have two picks, one that close to each other and another that high. So Evan Neal, Derek Stingley, that's a pretty phenomenal pairing there. I think if the Giants can walk away with one of the top 3 tackles or one of the top 2 tackles and an edge rusher or a corner, they'll be extremely happy. It's kind of hard not to be happy with picks 5 and 7. But now here we are at pick 36. They still need some pass rushing help. They still could use some more secondary help, believe it or not. There's a lot they could do. It really is. They can kind of go all over the place. I like edge here. I like Arnold Ebiketie. I think there's a good chance he could sneak into the back end of the first round. But in this case, he doesn't. He goes 36 to the Giants here. Super high upside guy. Obviously a little bit of a risk, but extremely long arms, high motor, really good athlete. Tested extremely well at both his pro day. I don't know if he tested at the combine. I don't remember off the top of my head, but in general, pretty good athlete that shows up on film. Just in general, high upside guy at a primary position of need for them. And we might not even be done with the edge position. We could definitely double dip there. If you look at the Giants, some safety help a little bit, interior offensive line. You need a little bit of everything like we've alluded to. Some of these. I like Darnold Parham here from Memphis. I think that's another guy that could go a lot higher than some people expect. But again, right now he fell. Here he is at the Giants, top of the 3rd round. Can play really all over the place. He really can. And I know the Giants' offensive line has been an issue of late. And so when you can kind of get an extremely versatile guy, that you can add that early, kind of step in. He can start right away, in my opinion. If you need to give him some time, you can do that as well. And now here we are again with another pick in the 3rd round. Again, you can go a lot of different directions. Safety's an option here for me as well. I'm kind of looking at these linebackers as well. Take a look at the safety board. Nobody jumping out to me here at 81. Some of these linebackers are very interesting. All 3 of these top guys would be awesome. Let's go. The Georgia boys, Channing Tindall. I mean, anybody on that Georgia defense was good. I mean, I know a lot of them kind of probably got overshadowed by some, and I think Channing Tindall is one of those guys. Sideline to sideline speed, can just kind of make plays all over the field. That's exactly what you want from a linebacker. I know the Giants have had some weird linebacker play in the past, but I think so far for the first 3 rounds, this is a pretty awesome draft for the Giants. You address both sides of the ball. You address the trenches. You're liking where you're at. You still need some talent, obviously. It's why they picked as high as they did. But just in general, I like where they're at so far. And now they can kind of start going best player available a little bit, take some high upside some risks per se. Yeah, let's look at the board here. I really like Martin Emerson, but we gave him a corner at 7. They still maybe could go corner. I don't necessarily think so. I think there's a better possibility they double dip at edge with a guy like Micah Sanders or Tyreek Smith. They could even go. I know Jesse Luketa here is listed as a linebacker, but he's kind of that outside linebacker that just rushes the passer. So he's definitely in play there. Let's go ahead and give him Micah Sanders from Cincinnati. I think that he when he came into the combine, he weighed in at like 220 pounds, and everybody was like, "What the heck?" Came out the next day, he was extremely sick, thrown up all night, lost a lot of weight, and I don't know if it's necessarily going to cause him to fall. It kind of seems like it has still. But just in general, if he is there at that Giants pick, I think it's well worth double dipping with Ebiketie and Micah Sanders, two extremely solid high floor but high ceiling players as well. And that's a really fun pass rushing duo. You have Azeez Ojulari from last year. You still have some pass rushers, but edge rushers in general, pass rushers in general are at a premium today in today's NFL. And you can't really pass on good edge rushers. You just can't. Now they can still do a lot. I still like safety here. There's a couple guys that kind of stand out to me. I like all these guys at the top. Let's go ahead and give him Reed Blankenship from Middle Tennessee. I know another small school guy, but he was on a lot of teams' draft boards last year, and I believe he broke his leg or something pretty serious in his leg. And it kind of, obviously, he went back to school, he had another good year, a little bit of a different player. But if you turn on the film, he's fun. He's fun. He makes a lot of plays in the box. He makes plays all over the field. He kind of fits your stereotypical safety a little bit. He's a little bit different, but he has all the traits that you want in your stereotypical safety, I should say. But he had a lot of tackles for losses, I believe, last year or the year before. It was like an absurd amount. It was really impressive. Now... And just, it fits in back there. You have the guy you drafted from Alabama, Xavier McKinney, from a couple years ago. Just some depth, special teamers, high upside guy there. Nonetheless, like I said, the back end of the Giants draft, they're going to be filled with high upside guys, in my opinion. It's kind of how it should be. Now, it starts to get a little weird here for the Giants. You have a little bit of everything. You still could, tight end. Tight end. None of these guys are screaming at me. I like Cole Turner a little bit. I don't know necessarily how he feels, how he fits. Let's go Charlie Kolar from Iowa State. I think he's your pretty stereotypical tight end. He's your big body guy. He can block okay. He can catch pretty solid as well. He's had some great years at Iowa State. And the Giants on the clock again. They got a lot of picks pretty close to each other. The Giants could go some wide receiver depth. Romeo Doubs would be a fantastic pick here. It's tempting. I mean, they have Galladay, they have Tony, they have Sterling Shepard, Slayton. It's a weird room. None of those guys jump off at the page at you. Tony showed some phenomenal flashes last year, but still nothing that really jumped out at you. Outside of that, Tony's ceiling is through the roof. He got hurt a lot. Let's go ahead and give them Romeo Doubs from Nevada. Just really kind of best player available. I think there's a very high likelihood he's not there, but I still think the likelihood of that pick being a receiver makes a lot of sense to me. Like I said, they have an interesting room. Nobody's surefire in that receiver room at all whatsoever. So I think that's kind of why they could lean a depth receiver with some upside to kind of maybe overtake some of the guys when they leave, injuries. Whatever it is, I think there's a good likelihood they do address wide receiver in the mid to late rounds. And I also think there's a good chance that they address the running back position. I know not necessarily to replace Saquon or to, and there's always the rumors if he's going to get traded or whatnot. I don't necessarily think he will, but it wouldn't shock me, I guess I should say. So maybe they do look to add a running back at some point. Maybe it's just a complementary piece to Saquon to kind of lower his workload a little bit. So I know that I didn't mock them a running back in this group, in this mock I should say, but it wouldn't surprise me if they did take one at any point in the draft because, Who knows what Saquon's gonna be? I love the guy. He was dominant, absolutely dominant for a while, and then he's hit the injury bug. Um, it sucks. Maybe there's plenty of spots where they could target a running back, but like I said, for now, I think they're gonna lean away from it and just kind of roll with what they have. Maybe give Saquon another chance with the new offense, your new GM, your new head coach, and this is how the new era in New York starts. 5-7, Neal and Stingley. A lot of big schools here: Alabama, LSU, Penn State, Georgia. Like a lot of high floors or a lot of high ceilings here. A lot of guys with some major upside. I mean, your last pick being Romeo Dubs. Derek Stingley's upside as high as anybody's in this draft in general. Two complementary edge rushers. You have Aziz Ojolari. You have a lot. You have some talent there. And you just got to keep adding to it. Some versatile guys in Donald Parham. You beef up that offensive line, Neal and Parham. You get an underrated linebacker in Channing Tindall. This is a pretty good start to the Giants. And obviously some things can change between now and the draft. Maybe they move back from one of these picks. Maybe they get a crazy offer and they decide to move back or whatever. So, some teams are kind of gearing up for next year's draft already to try to move up for a quarterback. Maybe the Giants are one of those teams. Maybe they are. But for right now, that's going to wrap up the New York Giants 7-round mock draft, 6 rounds for your Giants fan. And I hope you enjoyed it. I'm really excited for the future of this Giants team. Lots of potential along the way. But like I said, that's going to wrap things up here, and I hope to see you again on the TWSN YouTube channel soon.